people, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope that you'll stick around and join us in today's conversation. Today, you guys, we are actually going to be talking about another channel here on YouTube by the name of Self-Taught Beauty. For those of you not familiar with this channel, it is ran by a lady named Mandy, and the channel itself has been around for roughly 4 years. Up until the last couple of years, her channel's really been based on beauty-related content, and she was mostly known for her spoiler videos on beauty boxes like BoxyCharm and Epsy. But back in 2019, she started sprinkling in these life update videos, and that is really where the questions and the concerns started. I myself was not familiar with this channel. I had never heard of Self-Taught Beauty until last year in late October, maybe early November. I started receiving some messages from a couple of you guys wanting me to look into this channel. A lot of you guys had some questions and concerns circulated around the fact of her taking advantage of her subscribers and using the power of empathy to her own benefit, also known as sad fishing. Of course, I looked into the situation, you guys, and after just a video or two, it did not take me long to realize that not only is this channel's story extremely personal, but it is way too complex for just a sit down and share my opinions video. I've really been doing tons of research just to better understand this situation so I can bring you guys the facts. I also did reach out to Mandy personally, and she graciously agreed to sit down with me and answer some really difficult questions. I do believe that there is a big conversation to be had here. Those of you who have been supporting her in the last couple of years deserve to have your voices be heard. I am also a firm believer that it's really important to understand the context of something before you go judging a situation or making opinions on anything. It is very apparent that her and her family are struggling. It's actually really heartbreaking, you guys. Mandy and her family live in a tiny little shed with no installation. There's no running water, no plumbing. They don't have a vehicle. They don't have legitimate working phones. There's a lot of stuff to this, you guys, and like I said, it's very complex. Within her life update videos, she does ask for donations, and she's been doing that for a couple of years. So a lot of people are starting to question, why are things not getting better for her? Why is she struggling so hard to get on her feet? I fully understand where everyone is coming from. Of course, I do have my own thoughts and opinions on the situation, which we will get to later on. But before we do that, I do want to just give you guys somewhat of a backstory for those of you who are not familiar and share my interview with Mandy with you. Fortunately, due to the situation, I was not able to get her on live, which was what I really wanted to do, but she did sit down and answer about 35 hard-hitting questions. Some of them were my own questions. A lot of them were questions you guys had sent me via email. And I really hope, if nothing else, this clears the air to where people can understand the situation a little bit better, and that those of you who have been supporting her finally get some answers to your questions. The beginning of all this actually goes back to 2019 when Mandy's house burnt down in a house fire on New Year's Day, you guys. Unfortunately, Mandy did not have homeowners insurance, so when that house burned down, thankfully her and her family did get out safely, but they literally had nothing left except for the clothes on their backs. This was the very first time Mandy did a live update video, and in that video you could tell that she was really struggling with all of this, which is understandable. I mean, she literally just lost her home. At the time, her boys were 16 and 18 years old, so they were still younger. She did ask for donations, which is completely understandable. Her and her family literally just lost everything. She was honestly at a loss of what to do, and it was very obvious in that first video. They don't really have a support system that they can turn to, people to really help them, and so that made the situation even more difficult. But they did have a next door neighbor that welcomed them in with open arms and allowed them to stay in one of their spare bedrooms. Due to the situation, her son, who was still in school, ended up missing a lot of school. He was also getting bullied really bad when he did go to school because he only had 1 or 2 outfits to his name. And because of that, he dreaded going to school. He refused to go. And this got Mandy into some trouble. Mandy actually ended up getting subpoenaed to court and charged with a truancy charge, which I am going to pop up the definition of a truancy charge here. And I will also pop up some images of her paperwork that she actually did share. Now, the reason I'm sharing this information is because I feel this is when there started to become this kind of negative shift on her channel, and people really started to question her and if she was being genuine. Mandy got sentenced to 10 days in county jail, and in that 10 days that she was gone, the internet had a field day in dragging her name and leaving negative comments, calling her a bad mom, leaving hate comments under her videos, and there was also other creators that were making videos as well saying that she was a drug addict and a convict. When Mandy got out, one of the very first thing she did was address these allegations and try to put it all to rest. But honestly, you guys, I feel like at this point, it didn't matter. A lot of people already had their minds set on what kind of person she was. One thing I myself have learned on the internet is all it ever takes is one person to send a hate comment and 20 more is going to join in. That is just the way it kind of works. And in this situation, that's exactly what happened. People actually even started asking for their donations back that they had given her, and Mandy gave them back. Mandy and her family ended up staying with the neighbors for roughly about a year until they finally did find a rental apartment that they could afford. And when it came to their income, they did not have a huge spectacular income. Mandy only cleaned a couple of houses a week, and she had her YouTube money. I do believe she said usually she makes anywhere between $350 to $400 a month off of her YouTube. So that was really the only big income they had coming in. So other than that money, the only other money she had coming in was her donation money, but it was enough for her and her family to get their own place. Mandy stopped doing as many life update videos. She was actually focusing more on doing her content for her channel, and she was putting out content constantly, you guys. Things seemed to be going really, really well for them. After about 6 or 7 months though, Mandy started to have some severe health issues, and on top of that, her and her husband of 20 plus years were going through a pretty serious separation. Mandy does not talk about him much, but from what I gather, he pretty much just up and left. He does not help to support the family in any way. He does not stay in contact with the boys, and now it is just Mandy and her boys. As we're talking about someone who has been with the same person for 20 plus years, I can imagine that that was also a difficult transition to get so used to being with the same person and working as a team and having that person to kind of rely on and trust, and go from that dynamic to everything being put on your shoulders and you having to figure it out to survive. She was diagnosed with this heart condition, which you guys, I'm not even going to try to pronounce this because I know I will butcher it, but she was diagnosed with this heart condition. There was some other situations found as well that they have not diagnosed, but she has a bunch of different things going on, and because of those things, she was in and out of the hospital a lot, and unfortunately this left her to where she wasn't able to make content as much, and she wasn't able to clean homes because she was in and out of the hospital and she was really, really sick. So her money started to dwindle once again. Like I said, it was just her, so now she's in this transition trying to figure out how to juggle things on top of being sick and not being able to make that income anymore. So she really started to struggle. Unfortunately, they did get evicted and ended up losing a lot of stuff once again because she had nowhere to go. She had nowhere to put it. She does have a couple of friends that allowed her and her boys to kind of just house jump back and forth, but she couldn't stay there for long periods of time. It would just be a night or two here, a night or two there. But other than that, she had nowhere to go. And her and her boys did spend quite a bit of time camping in a tent as well, until finally one of her friends offered the shed that they are currently living in. The deal was that Mandy would take over the shed payment, which is a monthly payment payment, and she could pull it over there where her house burnt down. She had a little plot of land there, and so that's what she did. Mandy and her boys are staying in the shed. There is no good installation. They did stay there all winter in that shed, which is better than being out in the cold, but there isn't that much installation in that shed. There's also no running water, no plumbing. I do think that they were donated solar panels, so they do have some lighting, but not much, you guys, not much at all. They have to walk everywhere they go. There's a lot of really heartbreaking things going on in this situation, you guys, and I think it's really important that y'all understand how it kind of got there. So that is just a very quick backstory on how it got to be where it is today. Due to her situation, she was not able to sit down with me and do a live video, which is what I initially wanted to do, but she did agree to sit down and do her own little video, and she sent it to me. I'm gonna play that for you guys now, and then we'll talk about it.
So guys, as you know, this is the interview that I am doing with Cassandra. She runs the channel Wildflower Gypsy. Now, when she originally asked me to do this video, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be somebody that is trying to expose that this is a scam or try to dig into my past, and it was not at all like that. So of course I accepted, and we was going to do this live or on Zoom, but as many of you guys know, I have to walk to get Wi-Fi, and that's actually what I run off of is Wi-Fi. And it's going to be kind of hard standing on the side of a highway doing a live. So we decided to do it like this. Well, I hope you guys enjoy it. Now listen, guys, this is my 7th time trying to film this video. No, 8. I'm so sorry. The 8th time I'm trying to film this video. And because I'm trying to answer these questions so thoroughly, I'm running out of room on my memory card. So half of this is probably going to be in voiceover mode, and I do apologize about that, but that's the only way I could fit these questions in, and I wanted to answer every single one of them. Now, some of the questions are from Cassandra herself. Some of them were found from some of my subscribers. So anyways, let's try to get this done, guys. So the first question is, what are our goals and plans for our family in the next year? Well, of course, that would be getting our vital records. Getting my ID is the main dilemma right now. That's what we're trying to go for. That way we know we could go to work and everything will just fall into place after we get jobs. That's the main thing that I am trying to get done. So that is our main goal and plan, is to get our vital records and get jobs and get back on our feet, guys. Why did we move to Ohio? The reason I moved to Ohio, and I think that was about 5 or 6 years ago, is because of my parents. My parents were going through a separation. My mom at the time needed help. You know, Dad usually ran everything, like the bills, and he just ran everything. And I knew my mom needed help, so we moved up here for them. They did end up getting back together. They're doing fine. But that was the main reason that we did move up here. How did my house burn? My house was actually burnt down. There was, probably still is I don't know, they call them firebugs or an arsonist. Or mine was 1 out of 3 homes that were burnt down within a couple of days. There was something through my back window. No, I didn't hear it at the time. And no, I didn't have insurance on the home, so I regret that. That was one of those things I thought, you know, that's just an extra bill that I don't need to pay because it's not going to happen to us. I wish I didn't think that way, but I did. If I had insurance on the home, all of this could have been resolved. Please make sure you have insurance. Why did me and my ex separate? Now, I'm not going to speak too much about this because he is not here to speak for himself, and I don't believe in speaking about somebody unless they're here to defend themselves. I was married for almost 20 years, and since we moved to Ohio, things just kind of turned bad in between me and him. We weren't getting along. He was very emotionally abusive, and that was daily. Every second of the day. I never done enough right. I wasn't good enough. I was never going to be good enough. And it just come to that point where we needed to be separated. And even though I'm in this position now, I do feel a lot better, a lot positive. Okay, what is my motivation to keep moving forward? Because my boys are my biggest motivation. But another thing is I have this image in my head of our future. And I dream about this every night, and it stays on my mind when stuff starts going wrong. It just keeps me moving forward because I know that our future looks like the image that I'm picturing. Definitely staying positive. Do I have any plans on upgrading the shed, building onto the shed, or is this just temporary? Oh my God, have you heard that song, Temporary Home by Carrie Underwood? That song gets me every time. I don't want to be here forever. And yes, this is temporary. Fingers crossed, not for long. Like I said, as soon as I get my ID, I'm hoping to move forward and move on from this shed. I don't want to be here forever. Now, the water situation, I have no choice but to do that. But other than that, no, I don't plan on building onto this or anything. Age of me and my boys, I will be 40 April 20th. Mason is my youngest. He is 18. And Logan is my oldest. He is 20. And how are they handling this? Well, let me tell you, I couldn't have asked for better kids than they are. They could look at me and tell that something is bothering me. And they try to make me laugh all the time. And they are the biggest help. We get up early every morning and try to be as productive as we can. But the boys are handling this a lot better than I thought they would. And I just couldn't be more prouder of them. Okay, what does a day in our life look like? Well, again, we like to get up at around 5 or 6 to get started. I get up, I have my coffee, do the cleaning and all that stuff around the shed. I clean the litter box, feed the cats, feed the puppy if she's here, which she's here 90% of the time. Then after I have my coffee and I get woke up a little bit, I walk up to check my internet, update my phone. That way I can get my emails and all of that. Post a video if that needs to be done. Google anything that I need to be Googling. And I come back here, just try to figure out what we're going to do for the day. And if I can't find a ride to town where I go look for a job, I put in most of my applications down there. So when we're not doing that, usually we are going to every neighbor's house around here, seeing if they need any help, what they need help with. But yeah, that's usually what we do. And then in the evening times, I'll download a couple of videos off of YouTube to watch. And we'll play cards, play games, whatever we got to do to keep our minds busy in the evening times. And then wake up and do everything again the next day. How do you stay positive through this? Well, guys, trust and believe. I do have my moments where negative thoughts slip in because my brain really never shuts off. I am one of those people that worry about every single thing that is going on. But I'm trying to train my brain to think nothing but positive thoughts. And when I notice that there is a negative thought starting to creep in, I try to totally switch it around and think about the positive side of whatever's going on. Advice for others in a similar situation. Definitely, first of all, think positive. I know it is so hard, but you got to keep moving. But make sure you think positive because negative is going to attract more negativity in your life. Also, trust and believe that God will get you through this. And I know sometimes that's hard, and I've often felt like He's ignored me. And I feel bad for thinking that. But I know it's hard to not trust and believe that. God has got a plan for you. Also, make sure that you are doing everything that you can because you do have to meet God halfway. Has my ex offered any help? That would be a big no. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Do I have a support system outside of the boys? I do have a couple of friends that I talk to. I don't talk to them about everything. But I do have a couple of friends, 2 friends, matter of fact, just 2. And also you guys. You guys are my biggest support system. I've had so many people comment, advice, and send so much love my way and share your stories with me that you are my biggest support system. After I get back up on my feet, am I still going to be vlogging about my life journey? Yes, I most definitely will. I don't care what type of situation that we're in. I'm always going to share my life journey on YouTube. And that's just what I'll continue to do. Do I understand why some people think the donations are a scam. Yes, I definitely understand why some people would think that. But I think those of you that have been with me a while know that it's not. I've had the worst comments come through, and it just makes you feel like shit, like teetotal shit. I'm just going to be 100% honest. I've seen so many lies spread, people claiming that they know about my life and they know about my situation, and it couldn't be furthest from the truth. And when I see comments like this, sometimes I'll shut down, and I admit to that, when I should just address it, just hit it straight on and address it. But I do understand why some people would think this is a scam. Some YouTubers out there have gone great lengths to do a scam, but on my channel, I try to tell the truth. No matter how bad it looks, no matter how bad it is, I try to be honest with my viewers as much as I can. And it's a difficult situation to live in, and when other YouTubers do lie about stuff like this, I just don't see any reason in lying about anything going on in my life. It's really embarrassing to let people in on my life and let everybody know how I live, because this isn't a situation that everybody's used to. So again, it's really hard for me to share, but I still share. But yes, I do understand why some people think it's a scam. I'm not here to change anybody's mind. I just would trust and believe that if somebody is following my journey, that they see my true spirit and they know that it's not a scam. Guys, I also wanted to add in here, sometimes I don't say the right thing. I was also thinking about this. It is very discouraging when I do see comments saying that this is a scam. I'm on here and I share my life journey for the people who do support me and do believe me. And for the people that do think this is a scam, I would only hope that they would go back and watch the other videos before they pass judgment. And if not, and if they just genuinely think it's a scam and they don't want to dig in or do any research or watch any of my last videos, then that's fine and I'm okay with that. As long as you're not spewing hate in the comments on my channel, because I do block people that leave hateful comments or hateful comments that are disguised as constructive criticism. And there are those that really like to sink their claws in and really dig in and talk to me through emails and talk nice to me and criticize me and give me advice. But then they turn around and go answer all my other subscribers, trying to change their mind about me. So as long as they're not doing that, I'm fine with them just watching and leaving whatever kind of comments that they want, just as long as it's not hateful. And for the others that do support me, I'm honestly so grateful for them. Okay, does my health stand in the way of jobs? My health is not good, and I do not have an exact diagnosis for what's going on. Now, I have been diagnosed with a heart condition, but I don't have a diagnosis with what's going on with the rest of my organs. So I don't really talk about it a lot until there's an actual diagnosis. I don't see the point in bringing it up. It does stand in the way. I get really weak when I walk somewhere. I'm like out of breath. But I would push myself to work, so it might get in the way of me working, but it's not going to get in the way of me working, because I can push myself. Do the boys help around the shed? Do they have jobs? Again, we go from neighbors to neighbors. We do odd jobs. Okay, guys, so on that last question, I'm so sorry that this is in voiceover mode, but again, I've done this 7 times and can't fit this all in one video. So the last question, or not last question, but the next question is, do the boys help around the shed, and do they have jobs? The boys help me tremendously. If they see me getting weak or they know that I'm just not feeling 100%, they definitely take the ball on this one. They do everything that I need them to do and more. They try not to let me get out there and do too many of the odd jobs or anything. Anybody that needs anything done, they try to do all that. My youngest son, again, he was working on a farm on the weekends, and he was working 11 to 12 hours a day, only bringing home like $25. If you've ever done farm work, it is one of the hardest jobs. So he does what he can. My oldest son, he does have severe asthma. He can step out into the cold weather, or it could be cold in here. It makes him feel like he's got a ton of bricks laying on his chest. So I try not to let him get out there and do too much, but he still does it anyways. They've really become outstanding men, and I really hope that they could find some jobs where they don't have to work as hard as they've been doing. And I just want them to have a good future. But yes, they definitely do everything that they possibly can do. They push themselves more than me, and it really upsets me seeing anybody comment anything negative about them. If you only knew what these boys go through and how much they really help, you would not be commenting what you comment. The biggest lesson in the last year. Well, the biggest lesson is to definitely, the next time I have a home, it will have insurance on it. I think that was just the start of all these problems. Again, I was so naive to the fact that I never thought this could happen to us. I just thought it was an extra bill that I didn't need to pay. It was a waste of money. And I really wish I would have thought about that one, because it can happen to you, and it did happen to us. So that is one of the biggest lessons. Another thing, your vital records are everything. I wish I would have worked a little bit harder on this time the house burnt down. But when I kept getting turned down for getting my documents right after the fire, I kind of just gave up. You know, it was that laziness, and just I didn't have the will to actually go fight for it. It was just one of those times when I felt like everything was just falling down around me, and I gave up. I really wish I would have been dead set on this time the house burnt down, but there was so much stuff going on that that kind of got put on the back burner, and I'm paying for it every day of my life now. Another lesson is family is everything. Like I said, my boys have definitely manned up, as you would say. They have so much responsibility on their shoulders, even at their ages. And I know there's a lot of people in the comments thinking, oh, they're old enough. Today's generation is not like my generation growing up. It's so much more different now. And yeah, it probably is my fault that I've babied them just about their whole life. I lost my youngest son when he was 16 months old. That's been 19 years ago. And after that, I was scared to let them out of my sight. They didn't really go to friends' house to stay or my family's to stay. I just wanted them around me all the time. And I don't really talk about him very much. It's heartbreaking. And I don't like to go back to that time, because it was really rough. And I went through a lot, so I don't mention him because I don't want to get back in that headspace. And I know I'm already going to get questions about this, so I'll address it in this video, but you probably won't hear me mention it again in anything else. His name was Chance, and he had seizures a lot. He could have anywhere from 3 to 20 seizures in a day. He had a feeding tube that he had to eat out of. He was also diagnosed with hemihyperplasia, Proteus syndrome. He also had hydrocephalus, which is, and I hate this term, but some people call them waterhead babies. But he did have seizures a lot, and he passed away when I was at work. And I could still remember the day I got that phone call at work, and like the drive home and everything was just a blur. I can remember driving as fast as I could. And I also remember just repeating, God, please let me say goodbye. Please let me say goodbye. And ever since then, it was just kind of one of those things. I couldn't block it out of my brain, and I wouldn't let my other boys out of my sight. I just never wanted to go a minute without them. I did baby them a lot more after that, but they really have turned out to be outstanding men. And I always believe that to appreciate what you have to have the understanding and appreciation for the journey. It was the journey that got you where you were, because our journey is going to be one for the books. Let me tell you, there will be stories to tell the grandkids, and I can't wait for the future that I'm picturing. I cannot wait. I picture the holidays and us just being around each other and laughing and having fun and eating and just not worrying and being positive. Next question is, do I plan on keeping donations open after getting stable? Well, of course, I would close the donations. Once we get back on our feet, there would be no need for anybody to donate to us. I would probably still leave the links to the other organizations, but no, as far as any donations going toward us after we get on our feet, no, I would definitely not keep those open. How do I afford beauty boxes? Are they PR or am I paying for them? No, I do not pay for any beauty boxes. The only PR I get is from Ipsy. They do send me the standard bag as well as the plus ultra bag every month. This has been happening since November, but I have not bought beauty boxes since before the fire. It's just something it's not in my radar at this moment. I'm not financially stable to buy or pay for these boxes. I am grateful for Ipsy sending me PR, and if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be getting any. Also, the links down below for BoxyCharm or Ipsy or AIA Box, I do also want to add in here that those are not affiliate links. I do not make any money from those. I've seen that question quite a few times and wanted to answer it in this one. So right now, no, I don't buy any beauty boxes. And what am I passionate about? Well, of course, makeup. I think everybody that's been with me a while knows that makeup is my therapy, and makeup is a big passion of mine, and I want to do a lot in the makeup beauty community, especially when I get back on my feet. It just drives me nuts that I can't do nothing with makeup now. So I keep doing my spoilers. But like I said, I would love to get up and just do my makeup and just have that couple of hours to sit there and do my makeup and not think. Just think about what I'm doing, what kind of art that I'm going to do, what kind of shadow look I'm going to do today. And again, I've only done that one time since being evicted, but that is my biggest passion. That and also my cats. My cats are my loves. Them and my boys are like the biggest loves in my life. So it's my boys, the cats, and makeup. So guys, that is the end of the questions. If you have any more questions, go ahead and comment them down below. Cassandra, I would love to thank you for this interview. I really think that you have done an outstanding job, more than some of the YouTubers that I've seen, and I think you deserve way more subscribers than you have, and I hope you get them, and I hope you go far on YouTube because you are amazing. I honestly believe that any channels that talk about drama or talk about any of the communities on YouTube or celebrities or whatever the case may be needs to follow suit with Cassandra right here and actually contact that person before doing a video. And I couldn't be more grateful for you doing that, for you reaching out and asking me if I could do this video with you. Hopefully these questions have cleared the air a little bit. And again, if you have more questions, leave them down in the comment section. And I love you guys so much.
Hey guys, so I know this video is much longer than my normal content, and for that I do apologize, but I wanted to try to get all of this together for part one. That way in part 2, we can continue this conversation. I hope that this video did help in some way, just clear up some stuff. And for anyone that may have been confused about the situation, I do hope that this helped and answered some of your questions. I am aware that this did not answer everyone's questions, y'all. I have gotten a lot of questions and some of them are extremely detailed. So be sure to stay tuned for part 2, where we will continue this conversation. If you are not already subscribed, please consider doing so and tapping the bell for post notifications. That way you are notified when part 2 is available. Also, let me know what you think of all of this in the comments down below. You guys know I love hearing what you guys have to say. And before I say anything else, I do just want to quickly say thank you to Mandy for taking the time out of her life to sit down and answer these questions. Y'all, she did not have to, and for that, I am extremely grateful. I appreciate every single one of you to the moon and stars, and until the next one, bye!